It's the good Catholic in me.
Well, I'm glad the good Catholic in you still has a little control over the bad Catholic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Only the good I am, John.
Now, let's just hope we don't get the double voice reverberation.
Sandra, why? Why are you doing that?
We'll
Don't do that, Sandra.
Oh, so just give me a sec. This is the tricky part.
I use sheet notes too.
There we go.
We're all
I think
good.
we're good.
Over to you, Chair.
Thank you. It is 1:30 on February 18th, and it is time for the committee meeting of the Township of Bon Chevre Valley. I call this meeting to order. And before I proceed further, I just wanted to give hats off to the hardworking staff of the Bon Chevre Valley Works Department for making sure that snow was removed several times in the last week so that we had access to emergency services as needed. Thank you very much.
Excellent, John. Well said.
Are there any additions to the agenda?
I have some removals, actually, Chair.
Please.
Tracy will not be with us today, so I'm removing the museum update. I'm also removing our CAO report. And I'm removing 8.3 and 8.4 for an ask from our CAO because she is not here to speak to those items, and there needs to be some discussion on terms of reference. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Would this affect the closed session as well?
Yes,
So we'll add that
Sorry.
to the.
yes.
That's okay.
I missed because it wasn't, yeah, sorry, it's very close. Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I'm not sure why we're discussing those anyway, because we have nothing to do with them, but anyway.
Okay. So moving on to, is there anyone with a pecuniary interest
Approval
or
of
general
each.
nature
I'll
thereof?
approve the agenda.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. Approved. Number 3, any one with a pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none. Number 4, may I have someone to a motion that we approve the minutes? Were there any errors or omissions that we need to deal with? Okay. Do I need to vote for that? Thank you. No delegations today. So we can move right on to Kevin McGrath with the Recreation Department report.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you can see, the arena's been quite busy this last month or so. And there's a full day tomorrow. So I'll start out with the sledge hockey was
Looks like so much fun. Thanks for including photos.
yeah, I know it was
Like, seriously.
it was a neat little program. They reached out to me and said absolutely. So they're coming back again in March. So it's good. It's good. A family day yesterday with family, about 45 people were out, weather permitting. Like, the weather was definitely a big factor in everything, so it was good to even have that many people out. We have a couple more tournaments coming up. We have one tomorrow morning starting at 7:30. It's the varsity school hockey tournament, so it's the boys tournament, starts at 7:30 and goes right through the full day, right till 3 o'clock. So public skating is continuing with even with public school. They're twice a week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. Adam's running a skating program in the afternoons, and he's a regular skating program in the morning. So through the school. Minor hockey teams are starting their playoffs this week, so hopefully everybody does well, so we can continue on. First round of playoffs started Friday night. Eagles Nest, we're booking the hockey tournaments and just continuing to open on Friday nights for the EHL.
Have you seen like an uptick in like birthday parties at like the arena this year? Because I've heard a lot of like kids, like parents renting the ice and then going up to the top of the Eagles Nest. Has there been more of an uptick you find this year?
It has been, Brent. We had one on Sunday. We had the family rent the birthday party and rent the ice. So
Yeah,
And they
we-
made it?
And they made it.
Wow.
Well, and that's what, like, I was teaching my kids how to skate this weekend and, like, we're at the arena and that's why I noticed there was a birthday party up top before it. And then my kids are going to one this Sunday.
Yes,
So
we
it
have
just
two this
seems,
week.
yeah, and it just seems like it's more of an uptick, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, no, it's a great, venue. You can go down and burn off some energy and then come upstairs and. somebody
And then
eats.
eat cake and get more energy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then you have to send them back down to the.
Or home.
Or home. Or home, yes. Excited about your co-op student.
Yes,
This
yeah.
is through the high school.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I love co-op programs.
So, this is his second week right now, so anyways, it's
And it runs in his blood.
pardon me.
Hockey runs in his blood.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct. Outdoor rink, we're continuing on. We're having lots of fun keeping it clean, but it got cleaned off today, but it's not perfect, but it's there. It's there. As for the, in the village, the banner will be going down once we get Mother Nature slow down a little bit and have some extra bodies to give us a hand and take the flags down.
Yeah, at this point, nothing is more important than making sure that the
Yeah.
snow is,
Removed.
removed, yeah, everything is on hold right now, Kevin.
That's right.
Right? So I just think that, right now, we need to take care of our residents and them getting around and being able to park and walk safely and, yeah, I think that this can wait.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's not on the top.
I can't even imagine how our roads crew are feeling. I was texting with Jason all weekend, but it's
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's too much all at once.
Yeah,
Anyways, that's pretty much the, my report. Any questions from council?
I wanted to thank you for attending the Guy Jamieson Euchre tournament. I'm so sorry that I couldn't make it. I came home from Roma as Annette did, like with the plague, basically. And now it's boomeranged, as you can hear, so, but I really appreciate you going and representing. I wanted to be there so badly, as you know, Guy was like a
Oh,
second father to me, but, I didn't think that infecting a room full of 200 people was the best move.
no. It's absolutely-
Just saying,
No,
just saying.
Very well attended, very well attended. And thank you, Jen. Yeah.
Probably for a while and shorter, and we aren't doing a Nets report today. We won't be discussing it.
How are you? Yeah, okay.
Every time I saw you, you're just in a different part of Eganville and the sidewalk machine throughout the weekend, so.
Why didn't you put him on the holder?
He was on Zamboni duty
I was on that, what we
on
do.
Sunday, yeah.
You can do both.
Not easily.
I'm wondering, you know, when we were texting in the morning, or the night before, and you thought that I was talking about a significant weather event, I'm wondering if that's the compromise with the MTO. I think that's gonna be my ask. Cause declaring an emergency seemed like a really big stretch. But if you needed it, then it's a tool that's there, but I think a significant weather event should suspend the rules
Well, it does to a point. It will give you.
for minimum maintenance.
Yes,
But not for your CVOR rules. So for minimum maintenance, I get it. We were in a significant weather event. People have to be patient and they have to be kind. And I polled council before we started. Nobody got a complaint. The only concern I got was in Foymount, that if somebody needed EMS, they weren't getting in. But that was a concern. It certainly wasn't a complaint. People were being very patient. But I'm just wondering, Jay, if that's the compromise
yeah,
when the new government is in place,
yes.
right? Okay. So I'm glad you came in, because now I've got it in my head, because I was making notes. Thank you.
All right, okay.
Good job.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he missed your thank you.
Well, he'll watch on the news today.
Oh, yeah, sure he will.
Thanks, Gabby.
That's kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sandra, wearing two hats today,
Yes.
financial report.
Yes, so busy just finishing up year end of 2024. The auditors are actually coming on site tomorrow to start. And everyone's been working on their 2025 budget. In your package was the income statement for January, comparing January of 2024 to January of 2025. So I didn't know if anybody had any questions on that. On January 17th, I virtually attended the Municipal Finance Officers Association discussion forum. And the province sent us back our 2023 report card.
Yeah,
Yes.
they drive me crazy.
Yeah, it's a little-
So, okay, so, hang on a sec. I have late breaking news, sorry. So our FIRs, which is the report card that Sandra's referring to. Our OCIF partnership fund, even sometimes grants are taken into consideration. The challenge is that this report is sometimes 18 months old. And so that's why it's ironic, I guess, well, right now it would be 15 months old or 14 months old, but it's crazy to base something on 2 years prior. But in any case, so just so you're aware.
Yeah, so we would have given them the information in May of 2024.
Right,
And then they send us the
Right.
report in January of 2025.
yeah, which is not ideal.
Yeah,
Because like all of our funding, well, we don't know how partnership is funded, but all of our funding depends on those FIRs that are so important.
I guess they're just really far behind.
Like for the last 15 years, you mean? Okay.
Well, we could probably depend on the call us earlier if we had a failing grade, is that right?
I would think, yes, they would be calling at that point, yes. So as you'll notice on the review, taxes receivable, our risk is low at 9.2%. We do seem to fluctuate between 8 and 10%. So for the most part, our ratepayers are able to afford their taxes. We have to watch, hopefully, that doesn't increase now with the economy.
Yes.
Our net debt risk is low. It is higher if you compare the column where it's comparing this to similar municipalities. The increase from 2022 to 2023 would be the loans we took out in 2023. And then we didn't take any out in 2024. So total reserves as a percentage of municipal expenses, we're now at 53.1% as our reserves are holding due to our AMP and our reserve policy. Based on the average, risk is low, which is good, and we are lower than the average, which is 86.3%. Cash ratio, which represents our cash flow, our risk is also low due to the cash we have on hand due to our reserves, so that's a good thing. And then the flexibility indicators, debt servicing as a percentage of total revenues, we are at 8.4%, so our risk is moderate. The closing amortization balance is at 54% and is also rated a moderate level of risk. As far as the province is concerned, we are in a good position, but we are consuming our assets faster than we are replacing them, which I think everybody is in that position.
I was going to say, we are not alone.
No,
Across the province.
yeah,
We are not alone.
and we generally use debt when we buy our plow trucks and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And our annual surplus is at minus 13%, which is moderate. So
Thank
did
you very
anybody
much.
have any questions?
So a general question, when we do our budget day, occasionally we'll use a little money out of our reserves to tide over a specific project or need.
Yes,
Do the reserves get replenished as time, or is that what you're meaning when you say we're slowly shrinking?
A bit of both.
yeah.
Okay, so generally our surpluses from the prior year go into our reserves.
Okay.
And then we utilize if we need some here, some there. And at the same time, we have a reserve policy for 1% to go in for infrastructure. So your question is valid, a bit of both.
You take from one hand and put it in this
Yeah,
hand and then
that's
spend it a little bit.
But that makes sense. So if we were planning on buying a plow and it had to be put off for a year, that might become part of reserves? No,
No,
it has to be money that was,
so
budgeted,
Well, maybe kind of. So if we were buying a plow, all we would budget for would be the payments on the debt. Right? We wouldn't budget for the entire. I don't even know what a plow's worth now. I'm afraid to ask. So we wouldn't budget for the entire amount. We'd budget for the amount, say we're buying a plow in March during budget. However, we know that we're not getting it to November. So we're gonna budget for November and December's debt repayment. If we don't receive the plow until January, we're going to take that debt repayment and put it into a reserve, which will then carry forward to the following year.
okay, money that was budgeted for, but for some reason not needed.
Unless Jason brings us a proposition like he did with the
Mower
the
attachment.
mower, yes. Where he had money in one line of his budget that he was not utilizing and came to council and said, instead of it going to surplus or reserves, can I use it for this? And it made a heck of a lot of sense.
Very good. Thank you.
Doesn't hurt to have a mayor that's
And,
together.
No, you canceled the next report, but I was just wondering if you, about the neuter scooter that's on, because that could be slightly time sensitive. So it's
Oh,
basically,
yeah,
the ask is, they still run the program to take cats down, I think it's to Brockville.
That was for May.
yes,
And basically the ask is just if we could set up so they would use our back parking lot to send, like, so that the people of Eganville could bring their cats here and they'd leave from here as opposed to having to drive them up to Pembroke and pick them up in Pembroke.
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Yep, they
So
just need,
committee is
yeah,
okay
they just
with
need a
that?
location.
Absolutely.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
because,
So they, a depot,
yeah.
a kitty depot.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah,
sure it
sorry.
doesn't take them long.
No, no,
They'll
no,
probably
but
have
you-
them before we arrive and,
I'm glad you stopped me
The
because that
cats.
is time sensitive.
okay, because
Thank you.
Annette was recommending that we do that in May, so.
Yeah.
Of this year, so.
No, I think it's great,
Agreed.
Perfect.
very helpful.
It does raise the question of how much do they pay the poor guy who drives a van full of cats? Not enough.
Apparently they're in their cages, but yes, it might be a very loud drive.
He's the caddy.
Moving on then to correspondence, correspondence A, as we said, these things will be left off. It does, is item 2
Well,
about
that-
county council?
Information.
Yeah, the A is just for information, but in B, the sexual assault request for the banner, we do that every year.
Every year, yeah.
Agreed.
But the two resolutions, I will say, number one, the deposit return program, I'm waiting with bated breath. And the US tariffs, that's from my very good friend Bonnie in Peterborough County, and we took it and the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus resolutions to County Council last week. We decided to hold off for several reasons. The biggest of which was County Council was on Wednesday. Craig and Gwen and I were changing the resolution on Monday and then on Tuesday. When we got to County Council, it wasn't even the right resolution in our package because we had changed it so many times. So realistically, I think, and this is sort of Amo and Roma's position right now as well. We're just gonna hang tight. Everything is about the election right now. And we'll have to revisit this. I mean, obviously, there's gotta be a resolution and there isn't a government up for election right now that isn't concerned. Everybody's concerned. The steel and aluminum threw us all for a loop on the last Monday. And although we've got substantial steel and aluminum here in Ontario, the challenge is I can't forge you brake rotors at my shop. So the steel has to go somewhere in the States, and then they send it to be forged into brake rotors, and then it comes back to the States, and then it comes back to Canada. So this isn't going to be necessarily just 25% tariffs. This could be, a tariff going in, a tariff going out, a tariff coming in, a tariff. So I'd like to hold on that until we know kind of the nitty gritty of it.
Understood. That's good. It's like trying to hit a moving target.
It really is. And I mean, with the province in kind of upheaval right now and the feds in upheaval right now, I get that we're sort of the only functioning level of government at the moment, but it's really falling hard on us for things that we don't really have control over, considering that these are provincial and Canadian issues, especially Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then 7.2, everyone's good with number one was assault request.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's,
Okay.
we do it every year.
So we can file. Do we have to direct staff on any, we're two items we're waiting, we're gonna wait and
Yes.
revisit. And the others we can file as having been considered by council or,
Yes.
okay.
And I just got an email from Tracy. She is no longer on the museum board. So what I might do is ask the president of the museum if she would just forward us each month, just a little, or each month, just a little note.
Summary.
Just-
Yeah,
just a
it's much
summary.
like the library summary. I mean, maybe not the incredible infographic we get from the library, but
Mhm.
maybe if she doesn't mind, just a little, how do you do from the museum board?
Perhaps a quarterly report. something
Yeah,
like
you know
that.
what, now that I've said it out loud, I think, yes, a quarterly report would be.
Okay.
Yeah, or even if she wanted to come and talk to us about what's going on at the
How,
museum.
how often do they actually meet?
I have no idea, I'm not on the board. No clue, I'm assuming once a month, unless something comes up. I know that when Aerospace was going to go in, they had more meetings, obviously, but I'm not sure that that's a,
Yeah, it's
I would
probably.
guess more in the summertime than the winter time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when they're open,
Yes.
yeah. But yes, John, you are correct.
So it seems reasonable.
Yeah.
All right, carrying on, 8.3 annual ratepayers meeting.
I removed
We're
it.
just on
And that's-
8.1.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Just on
just
the
for
library.
Brent for the library
Oh, I'm
update.
sorry, yes, we went to museum update because Tracy.
Yeah.
No worries.
8.1.
Well, and Brendan sent us the library
Yeah.
report, so I wasn't sure if there was.
Yeah, so it's just on the library report, obviously. It came out just after our package came out, so it wasn't the original. But pretty much some of the highlights, I guess, is they ran their annual blind date with a book for Valentine's Day and stuff like that. And then also for their youth night going to this year as well, because I know Jen, you and Tracy had talked about youth and your goals as well. They have about 16 pre-teens that are all going to the youth events every week. So some of the areas they did a vision board. So they do everything from like the worship paintings, the Lego challenge, and they do a lot of charades and karaoke. And they provide a lot of food because obviously with pre-teens, that's always a good request. So
I want to go to the karaoke,
well, you're more than welcome.
just to recruit youth for the career fair. That's the only reason I would go.
No, and then those are some of the larger highlights from it as well. And then you guys have the reports which have all the numbers, so.
It looks like it's a busy place.
No, you know what, and they've been doing a good job tracking it as well.
Yeah,
And the only difference on your reports is it won't reflect the interlibrary loans because that's changed about 2 months ago. But no, besides that, the patrons visits and everything has been very high. And then the game nights they do every week, it changes from like they did Dungeons and Dragons for a while. Now it's into a lot of puzzles in a couple other groups as well. But that's always in and out. It fluctuates throughout the year. But like last week, I think they had about 8 members that came out for boards night as well. So it's just nice, just an avenue for the community to get out, right?
yeah,
And then they have their tea event, obviously, that's coming.
I'm so excited. Are you going to misrepresent what the theme is again, Brent?
No, the library board, I told them, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay silent on what the theme is this year, and it's open-ended, so you can do what you wanna do. But it's a running joke. We have a lot of them in the group. It's a good board. You know what? They're a good working board and they do a lot.
No, they just thought it was funny when I arrived as Anne of Green Gables. And somebody asked me why I was Anne of Green Gables, and I told them because Brent told us that the theme was Anne of Green Gables, and Brent's not even here.
Exactly. Well, they always, they always put it on. It's Katie's birthday weekend.
Oh, yeah, no,
Weekend,
no,
so.
no, I was just cursing you because there I was in my best Anne of Green Gables and you weren't even
Oh,
there.
they remind me every meeting because they think it's hilarious. So you always gotta have fun.
All right,
No, But it's your favorite literary character, correct? Yeah. Yeah, okay, it's gonna be fun. I think we should all go. Oh, none if it's Katie's birthday. That's just silliness.
Well, we'll see.
I'll go. I like tea.
I,
I thought,
I-
I thought you were registered. I'm pretty sure they have you pre-registered. Richard.
it was a really good event last year and I couldn't believe how many people were there.
Well, and that's why, so that, the purpose of that event is to be a community builder. It's not actually meant to be a massive fundraiser or anything like that. They do actually quite well on it. But the intention of that one at the board's side was always just, that was a really good community event.
It is a really good community event. And the
And they have the-
people that do the tables, that decorate the tables, they are incredible.
Yeah, and there's some really good ideas that are coming out of this one. So if you're gonna go and you have a table, then come
Oh, no, no,
prepared.
no,
It's
no.
gonna be a good one.
No, I'm just gonna slide into somebody's table, okay? We'll find a table.
Oh, that's the best way.
Find a table.
Because you can actually jump tables that way.
Yeah, you can too. You're not, yeah. No, but I would never get in the way of some of the creativity that goes on with those people. Ever.
I interpret as a community spirit building exercise, but it's the game is my community spirit is better than your community spirit.
I like it.
Yeah.
I felt so bad at county last week. Everybody was sort of saying all the things that they were doing for their family day weekend. And then the storm hit. And I thought, oh, what a terrible,
Snow blowing.
well,
Snow blowing and public skating is what we did. I taught both kids to skate and I was like, oh, this is good.
yeah, snow blowing as a craft.
Yeah, when you do it in circles, yeah.
But there was a lot going on this weekend, so I hope people got out and were able to at least enjoy some of it.
It was good. Okay, excuse me, then now on to 8.3. The
Yep.
annual repairs, that's going, that's
Yep.
deferred, excuse me, and the Clean the Lake event.
Yep.
Good. Okay,
Sorry, Annette just messaged Sandra and I this morning.
all good. So establishing the date for our next meeting, which is on the calendar already,
March 4th.
March the 4th.
And we will have our library coming up as well.
What?
Like we will be having our library coming up as well for like where the two townships meet for the budget.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just keep your eyes out for that meeting as well.
Okay, can we schedule that sooner rather than later? Because my,
Susan was to reach out to Annette to
Okay.
go over it and stuff, so I'm sure they very discussed it and gone over it.
okay,
And we were part of that meeting that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I think it makes sense for both councils to be in the room and hash it out. And I think that last year, knowing that what we were coming in with, we were setting them up to fail, just didn't work for any of us, so I think that's.
Begin a snow blowing.
There you go.
Okay, well, I thought that at that meeting, my recollection is that the bad news or the hard news was presented very amiably and people understood. No one walked out of the room not understanding why we were looking at it.
Absolutely, and I think that our amazing librarian understands that she's not set to an amount that will massage numbers when need be. But it's gonna be a tough budget all around.
So it is a surprise to me to be at the end of this meeting.
We are too, sir.
Do we need a motion to adjourn?
You do, sir.
Mr. Patrick? All in favor? So we'll be back at 15:30. Or no, do we have EGC first?